Hello everyone, I'm Gary Digital Williams, and welcome to a special audio presentation that covers 35 plus years worth of coverage of what I and many others consider to be the best boxing area in the world, the Washington, Maryland, and Northern Virginia corridor. Now some call it the DMV, but I refer to it as the Beltway. This is not your typical audiobook, primarily because, well, there is no written book. What you will hear are excerpts from my Boxing Along The Beltway podcast that I have recorded since 2012. Now, these are actual recordings that have not been touched since I recorded them. And so you will hear them with just about every and stutter left in. The podcast has had over 600 episodes full of commentary, interviews, and blow-by-blow commentary. You can still hear the podcast on many different platforms, including Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Throughout this audio presentation, you will hear how I began my journey covering the Beltway scene, along with personal histories of some of the great boxers, bouts, and events that I have covered. I did not and have not traveled on this journey alone. There are many people that I have to thank. Many of these people you will hear about in these recordings. First, I honor the memory of the person who first shared this idea with me. In fact, he had it a little earlier than I did. The late and wonderful Panama Mike Payne. There are four people who without them I could never have started this journey. First, there was the late Deputy Commissioner of the District of Columbia Combat Sports Commission, Gilbert Ware. He took a chance on me, sight unseen, and gave me an opportunity. Then there was one of the first promoters I worked with, and someone I had a wonderful friendship up until his passing. That was the late Nat Williams. My first matchmaker was a wonderful and energetic man by the name of Cleveland Burgess, who was truly supportive of me and everything I had to do in this business. And then there is a man who brought me to all of those wonderful people while forging his own path as the first continually working African-American ring announcer in boxing, the one and only Henry Discombobulating Jones. Henry has been like a brother to me throughout this journey. He was even in my wedding. And I do indeed treasure our friendship. Now, through these recordings, you will hear that my boxing career is summed up in three basic chapters. There is the Friday Night at the Fieldhouse / Boxing Spotlight era, the FightNews.com era, and the Boxing Along the Beltway era. And there are many people that I have to thank to help make those eras become reality. Friday Night at the Fieldhouse and Boxing Spotlight were two TV shows I worked with, and we had people like Leo Miles Jr. and Katrina Johnson who served as my color commentators. Fieldhouse also had producers like Joseph Ankrum and Dr. Bonnie Hart Johnson. And Boxing Spotlight had a producer by the name of Rudy Childs, who was very special to me as well. Spotlight also had two people that have been like brothers to me. In fact, one of them is actually my brother-in-law, Charles James. I have always been amazed by Charles's technical knowledge of boxing, and I still enjoy talking boxing with him to this very day. The other is the man that we all know as the fight doctor, Jerome Spears, a man who is an encyclopedia of history about boxing, and someone I not only shared a microphone with over this long journey, but I also share a place with him at the District of Columbia Boxing Hall of Fame. We were both inducted in the same year in 2009. His wife, Deborah, also supports me because she sponsors my podcast. Boxing Spotlight had a wonderful group of people who worked behind the scenes that made that show a complete success. And you'll hear more about the Boxing Spotlight show later on. For more than 20 years, I have written for what I consider to be the leading boxing website in the world, FightNews.com. And through this platform, I have been able to bring Beltway boxing to the entire world. My eternal thanks go to the publisher and editor-in-chief of FightNews.com, Carl Freitag, and the managing editor, the one and only Flat Top. And also I thank many of the writers I have been fortunate to collaborate with in covering Beltway boxing, including Bad Brad Berkowitz, Kersey Scheckdar, John Buell, Julian Bergauer, and Priceless Steve Price. The Boxing Along the Beltway blog launched in July of 2005, and it was a solo effort that was a labor of love. It still is. Then in 2012, a man came into my life who shared the same vision of promoting the Beltway scene. He brought a visual aspect to my work through the photography and his ability to use graphics that I could never develop. When Juan Marshall came into my life, my and now our coverage of the area went into the stratosphere. Juan has become my traveling buddy, my friend, and my brother. We even go to the same church. And I never would have expanded this coverage without him, and Juan, his wife Elsie, and his family have my eternal gratitude. Now, of course, I could not even begin to cover boxing without the great professional and amateur boxers I've been privileged to watch live over the past 36 years. I've been very fortunate to cover 20 world champion boxers, including one International Boxing Hall of Famer and a Women's Boxing Hall of Famer. Out of the 26 National Golden Glove champions we've had in our history, I've watched 13 of them. I've also covered 3 boxers who've made the United States Olympic team, and I thank the many promoters, matchmakers, and commissions in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, as well as the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia governing bodies of USA Boxing who have worked with me and treated me with the utmost respect. And a special thanks to the fans of the Beltway boxing scene who have supported me, but more importantly, have supported the boxers in this area. Of course, the ultimate support comes from my wonderful family. My late father, Russell Williams, he taught me my love for all sports, including boxing, while my mother, Barbara, always encourages me and also helped me find my own path. I love you both so much. And then there is the support, the backing, the pushing, and the love of my wonderful wife, Evelyn, my partner of more than 25 years. Thank you, honey, for always encouraging me. And to my wonderful 3 C's, my daughters Sienna and Courtney, and my son Christopher, I truly appreciate you all being there to lean on when things got tough for me. I love you all. Now, get ready for a journey through boxing history, the best boxing in the world, the Boxing Along the Beltway.